Yes,
Ready, sir?
yes, sir.
All right. Mayor Heines and City Council, it is our privilege to be before you today to present the proposed fiscal year 2019-2020 programs and services for the City of Tyler. The format of our presentation today aligns with the organization's strategic plan, which in itself is tied back to Tyler First and the City Council's direction. This presentation provides insight into how the budget supports the momentum of the city to make progress on its missions and goals. We start with the City of Tyler's mission and vision of our services to this community. Our mission is to serve the community to make a positive difference. This and our vision for performance excellence are our guide for the services that we provide each day and the planning that we make for a better tomorrow. We as the public servants of the city are here to serve the people that make up Tyler, and it is this guiding principle that influences the budget we present today. We are continuing the path that was set out in 1995 with the blueprint as adopted by the city leaders and continue to today with this elected body. There was a direction set for the community where we could be debt-free on our property tax levies and focusing on essential services in a quality manner for our citizens and businesses. This was further solidified in our Tyler First vision, in which our partners joined us at the table to set the future of the city, with the understanding that it is not just the city's role to provide services for our community, but a group effort of government, education, faith institutions, business, and industry to enhance our city together. The proposed programs and services before you, totaling $208 million for the full fiscal year 2020 budget of operations, capital improvement projects, and over 3 dozen funds, represents the input and analysis of hundreds of staff, reviewing their ability to enhance their services and answer to the citizens who've asked for improvements. We do not shy away from finding opportunities for improvements. And in order to be an organization of continual improvement, we are able to identify what works, what doesn't work, and when to make adjustments that will provide better services for our citizens. The budget process forces the review and analysis to refine our services. This means cutting funding where appropriate and increasing resources where the programs are having success. It involves understanding priorities of the community, such as parks improvements as identified by the council, or public safety as shown in citizen surveys. This budget reflects those urgencies of the community will and provides responsible solutions. The 2017-2021 strategic plan focuses on 6 core areas: sound financial management, sustainable infrastructure, performance excellence, talented and experienced workforce, public-private partnerships, diverse economy, and prepare for growth. We use these 6 core areas to plan, prioritize, and measure for organizational success. The City of Tyler gets results. These 6 priorities are the focus of our activities and enhancements, as we'll detail in this presentation. Our first priority is sound financial management. You see this demonstrated through our fiscal forecasts, financial plan reviews, and ability to shift in spending based on economic conditions. Our decline in sales tax revenue during fiscal year 2016 and fiscal year 2017 demonstrated our versatility to respond by freezing vacant positions, reducing fund transfers towards maintenance, and shifting replacement schedules. In fiscal year 2018, we were able to unfreeze all key positions, but are still mindful of the need to enhance fiscal stability through incremental and conservative growth. We must also remain responsive to surface level needs by evaluating other revenue options. This is demonstrated in the 37 different funds that the city operates, ranging from enterprise funds, such as utilities and airport, to specially designated funds for street maintenance or tourism. From 2015 to 2018, the city had struggled with general fund revenues which pay for those services that do not have a direct revenue source. This goes towards police, fire, parks, streets, library, municipal court, and general government services. Several factors have come into play during last year's budget development that provided recovery and strengthened the general fund. We look forward to another year of modest but incremental growth in general fund revenues. Total revenues for fiscal year 2019-2020 are projected to be $3,756,323, roughly 5.5% greater than the fiscal year 2019 budget. We've seen sales and use tax revenue experience a growth again, increasing 7.01% between fiscal year 2018 and fiscal year 2019. We are projecting a cumulative 4.95% growth for fiscal year 2019, although we should note that we have developed our projections on sales and use tax differently than in past years. Sales and use tax is generated off of several different components, ranging from retail, restaurants, service, wholesalers, and agriculture and mining. We developed revenue projections off of each of these different components as they show different trends during the past few years. The oil and gas industry especially influences certain areas of the sales tax, especially with mining and service. And we work to balance the volatility of this primary revenue stream with more nuanced projections. The volatility of the sales and use tax is still heavily tied to the ups and downs of the oil and gas economy. We've seen the impacts of oil and gas downturns on sales tax revenue in 2016 and 2017, causing the city to reduce services and make expenditure cuts into public safety programs to make up for the unexpected drop in revenue. With the 5% growth that we saw in sales tax revenue for fiscal year 2019 and expenditures coming in lower than budgeted, we are recommending using $3 million of our end-of-year fund balance for this fiscal year to modify the means that we maintain our general fund reserve accounting. We work to maintain a 15% reserve fund for general fund services, and our current method of accounting for this depends on accrued revenue expected in the year. With this $3 million, we recommend moving to combine with the $3 million in the oil and gas fund to have a combined $6 million in the rainy day fund for operational services that can be fluid and available during future recessions. This rainy day fund will provide stability for essential services such as public safety during that recession period and rebuilt during growth periods. Property taxes continue to make up approximately 31% of the revenue collected by the general fund, and we'll go in more detail on the property tax revenue projections later in this presentation. The city's franchise fees are budgeted to remain at the same level as last year's budget. It should be noted that the state passed legislation this year that reduces some of the amounts we collect in this category, specifically related to telephone and cable TV franchise fees. The legislation allows a company that provides both cable TV and telephone services to pay only on the service that generates more revenue. In most cases, this will be cable TV and will reduce the amount that the city collects in telephone franchises by $236,000 for fiscal year 20 and for $314,000 for fiscal year 21. I do want to note that after some decline, fines and penalty revenues appear to have stabilized. The projected revenues for fiscal year 2020 budget remain relatively flat compared to the fiscal year 2019 budget. While this is a budget presentation and the general thought would be to focus on financials, we would like to highlight this area and the strides our staff have made to turn this from an operation focused on revenue generation to an operation focused on community and citizenship building. In 2015, we began a serious review of practice and processes using a Lean Six Sigma Black Belt study to determine areas for improvement and effectiveness. This study, along with the promotion of Nicole Johnson to Municipal Court Administrator, shifted our court practices toward a greater sense of fairness in our justice system. Our emphasis during the past 4 years with our judges and staff was to increase citizenship and community building through the court process. We expanded community service options, including financial health workshops, and gave credit for enrolling in substance abuse programs. Our payment plan system provides for citizens to set their own payment plans and modify it if needed, as well as mix community service with payment options. We agree that jail time should be the ultimate last resort for the city's misdemeanor tickets. At its highest levels, we were paying $335,000 in fiscal year 2013 for jail time services related to people we put in jail for tickets and failure to pay. Through changes we've instituted with safe harbor policy at the Municipal Court building and judges seeing defendants to determine if they can get on a payment plan rather than go to jail, we anticipate paying $34,000 for this fiscal year in relation to jail time services with Smith County Jail. We began in June for the first session of our monthly night court for our citizens to better accommodate their hours of work, along with addition of special dockets for special groups such as veterans to allow for items on dockets that may be too sensitive to discuss in open court. The court staff conduct community outreach at local colleges and the church and community luncheons. Court staff currently have an 82% approval rating from their customers based on the treatment and attention that they provide. We are recommending a modest tax rate increase from 24.4452 cents to 25.99 cents per $100 valuation for fiscal year 20. With the net taxable value of $9.06 billion within the city limits, the additional rate increase of 1.5448 cents will generate $2,038,939 over the current rate, with a full net taxable revenue amount to be $22,545,337. At our proposed rate of 25.99 cents per $100 valuation, a home valued at $150,000 will be assessed city property taxes of approximately $389.85 per year, or $32.48 per month. This 1.5448 cent increase would translate to $23.17 increase for the year for the homeowner of the same $150,000 home. It is important to remember that the city water and wastewater are enterprise funds. They run like a business and are not taxpayer supported. Instead, all those using the system are charged user fees that appear in the form of monthly bills. We continue our commitment to reinvesting in our aging water and wastewater systems, yet at the same time evaluate our standing with other utilities in similar sized markets. Using the survey data collected by the Texas Municipal League on utility rates, we see that we are still lower than all other average utility rates in Texas in different volumetric usage. Our maintenance and repair program for our water and wastewater system follows the blueprint model of cash funding to the full extent that we can. Last year, we saw $9.6 million in utility system improvements. During the next 10 years, we expect to cash flow $56 million in utility system improvements. For fiscal year 2020 alone, we intend to spend approximately $11.8 million in cash on water and wastewater system improvements. The proposed utility rate increases mirror the rate modifications that we set for the current fiscal year. There will be a 5% base rate increase, which equates to a 60-cent base rate increase on water and an 81-cent base rate increase on wastewater, along with a $3.24 increase on the regulatory compliance fee, which is directly linked back to debt service payments for wastewater system improvements required by the Environmental Protection Agency and the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality. The increase for residential users who consume 5,000 gallons of water a month will be $6.01 per month. For those industrial and businesses that use more than 25,000 gallons per month, they will see a base rate increase as well. While the impact will vary depending upon the amount of water that is used by the customer, for those commercial customers consuming 30,000 gallons of water per month, as an example, we'll see an increase of $13.51 per month. The regulatory compliance fee is a component of our strategy to address the EPA consent decree for our wastewater collection system. It provides revenues towards debt on wastewater line improvements, but is one part of a larger program. In February 2019, the City of Tyler implemented a fats, oils, and grease fog control program. This ordinance clearly defines requirements that are necessary to allow the city to implement the consent decree requirements, as well as bring Tyler more in line with other municipalities that already regulate grease grit reduction services. After investigation of manholes for wastewater lines 10-inch in diameter and larger, 897 manholes were identified as meeting the EPA requirements for necessary rehabilitation. These manholes were broken down into manageable packages of 224 manholes for the western seal, 258 for the eastern seal, 415 for repair and replacement, in an attempt to produce more manageable packages for crews and contractors. The first phase of the consent decree rehabilitation work has begun with a sealing of 224 manholes located roughly in the western portion of the City of Tyler wastewater collection system. This remediation is the result of year one assessment work performed in 2017. We reviewed the utilities fees associated with new construction to ensure that our costs for materials and services are captured. With this in mind, we are only recommending adjustments to our water and sewer tap fees for cost recovery of these services. As a comparison for our solid waste rates for residential pickup, we offer a premium service at a considerably low monthly rate that provides an average 8 collections per month. Our solid waste staff consistently receive high marks during the citizen surveys, always delivering top-rated services and demonstrating their call-to-serve commitment with outstanding customer service. We did make adjustments to our residential rate with this current fiscal year and continue our annual review of CPI rates for future increases. We continue to incrementally move residential customer rates so that residential services are not subsidized by commercial accounts and better reflect the true cost of service. The coming year's rate change based on our CPI increase of 1.9% is 31 cents bringing the monthly rate to $16.70. We conducted a Lean Six Sigma study on our tire disposal cost recovery. The current program allows for up to 4 tires each month that can be placed at the curb for collection with no fee, as well as drop-off at the recycling center for $5 a tire at any time. We've seen an increase in the number of tires placed at the curbs, which we expect may be related to others using our program for free disposal. Beginning on October 1st, we will change the program to have customers call in for collections of the tires at the curb and a fee of $5 per tire assessed with the collection. We anticipate this will provide $65,000 per year in savings on collections, plus additional revenue from the curbside pickup towards solid waste services. We have prepared a notice in both English and Spanish that can be distributed in August with the utility bills. As we begin a review of our property valuations and use of the property tax collections to advance our public safety and general government services, it's useful to consider how our collections match with comparable hub cities in Texas. With the lowest rate in the state, we also collect a relatively small amount of taxes as compared to our other marketplace competitors. There are 2 positives that come with this. First, we do have lower rates and collections because of the blueprint philosophy that we still believe in, and which has resulted in not having to levy an interest and sinking rate for debt on our citizens and businesses. Every dollar we collect from property taxes goes into our public safety, our streets, our parks, our library services that work for our citizens. This disciplined approach towards financial management has led the city to being recognized with a AAA bond rating on its general fund and a AA plus rating on our utility system. Second, I didn't use the phrase marketplace competitors on accident. We do compete with our fellow municipalities for economic development and quality of life projects. Our tax rate and small number of regulations provide an edge for the city of Tyler, and the relatively few tax abatements that we have offered in the past demonstrates that businesses really do want to locate here for reasons beyond cash incentives. As we consider a tax rate increase, we do want to note that there are protections for our senior citizens on regulated income. The city provides a tax ceiling freeze for those over the age of 65 or persons with disabilities. The resulting forfeited potential revenue in 2019 equates to 1.33 cents on the tax rate, or $1,334,065. The major change in property valuations for fiscal year 2019 tied directly to the addition of the former ETMC, now UT Health, East Texas, as taxable value on the rolls. The purchase of the hospital system added $197 million, which equates to $482,618 in additional revenue for last year. This year, we experienced closer to a regular rate of growth in values and additions, which reflects the confidence that our citizens and newcomers have in Tyler as a location for residential, business, and industrial growth. The mayor's quote on investment in infrastructure and public safety could be considered the theme of this budget. Our programs and functions for the coming year build on the foundations that we have set for protecting our assets in the streets, water, and wastewater systems, our parks, our facilities, our vehicles, and equipment that we own. This requires increased maintenance and improvements for the $1.018 billion in City of Tyler fixed assets. This moves into our second phase, our second focus of the strategic plan, sustainable infrastructure. We are estimated to spend $50 million on capital projects and equipment during the coming year. This investment will improve the water quality, wastewater service, streets and drainage, parks, traffic, and equipment that is provided to protect and enhance the lives of the 105,000 people who call Tyler home, as well as the 250,000 that make up our daytime population who are in our care while in our city limits. Since its adoption in 1995, the half-cent fund for capital projects has been an incredible success story for Tyler and serves as a model for responsible, sustainable capital program funding. Having served in other cities, I'm grateful that our city leaders had the foresight to create this source of cash to fund the capital improvement program on an ongoing basis rather than being dependent on debt to fund these projects. After 24 years of the program in action, I want to promote its impact on our city. We ran the model for what the addition of the property tax rate may be if we use debt on the $170 million we've spent since the half-cent adoption. Our rate would now be approximately 46 cents instead of 24 cents if we had to add an interest and sinking portion to the tax rate. If we didn't issue any further debt than the $170 million during the past 24 years in this model, we would not be able to fully pay that off and get to a tax rate of 25 cents until the year 2036. We also ran another comparison based on a hypothesis that was our slow and steady approach of using cash with half-cent having a similar or greater effect of funding capital projects than if we issued debt over the same period. We reviewed the City of Waco's debt issuances during the past 15 years and compared our capital projects from the half-cent fund with their debt-funded capital projects. Waco has a tax rate of 77.62 cents, with 11 cents dedicated to repaying debt as compared to our 24-cent rate. We factored in the comparison what the difference in spending percentage of total budget for Tyler as compared to Waco, and found that the comparison had us keeping pace with Waco's debt issuances over the span of the decade and a half. The difference is, though, we get to use each dollar collected toward the project rather than split between repaying the bond issuances and the interest on top of that. For the coming fiscal year, we have several projects that move forward to benefit traffic, quality of life, drainage, and public safety, using the $15.1 million we expect to generate and the available funds generated during the current fiscal year to potentially spend a total of $28.5 million from the half-cent fund. Fire Station number 1 at Palace and Gentry and Fire Station number 4 at Cherry Hill and Cumberland are under construction. The design phase for improvements for Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard are underway. We have improvements underway for Wildert and Fun Forest Parks, along with drainage and roadway improvements. The half-cent fund will also continue to pay for the traffic modernization study that began this year, a major process of improvement to the connections between our traffic signals. We plan to cash fund an amazing $5.945 million in water system improvements, with an additional $667,000 in bond-funded water system repairs. This continues the work of improving water quality throughout our city with the replacement of water lines, looping where appropriate, and the improvements of the filters at the Golden Road Water Treatment Plant. Fiscal year 2020 will also see significant investment in our wastewater system, as we expect to spend $5.821 million on projects, all paid in cash. We'll continue to rehabbing the Southside Wastewater Treatment Plant, clarifier, and a lift station pump replacement. The primary treatment clarifier is an important step in the Southside wastewater treatment process. Restoring the primary clarifiers will protect the pumps and motors, increase the plant capacity, and better remove solids, resulting in cleaner water product for discharge in Mud Creek. We'll also continue to purchase easements for the proposed new regional wastewater treatment plant further south from Tyler as we begin planning toward the project, which is a major undertaking for our future. Regional cities like Tyler will play a crucial role in providing services and expertise to our neighbors as we continue to grow together. To that end, the City of Tyler purchased 219 acres southwest of Bullard 9 years ago. This year, the Mayor has asked that we devote an additional 1 cent for the Quality Street Commitment Fund, bringing the pledged property tax commitment to 2 cents. This brings our funded amount to $1,546,952. Prior to fiscal year 2017, our asphalt seal coat program was funded with whatever we could carve out of the general fund beyond other funded services. The Council set a goal of 81 to reach for the pavement condition index that is conducted on all city asphalt streets and set aside a penny from the tax rate to begin funding a street maintenance program. Last year, with the commitment of 1.25 cents of the tax rate for asphalt seal coat program, we were able to spend approximately $842,000. Our goal this year is to designate 2 cents of the tax rate for the asphalt seal coat program to continue progressing toward an average rating of 81. We will continue the overlay budget from half-cent fund of $3.5 million a year, which was the challenge set in the 2016 PCI review to maintain or improve the average rating. This year, we were able to maintain 27.7 lane miles with seal and onyx seal coat. With the additional penny added as part of the quality street commitment, we should see in fiscal year 2020 a total of 78.9 lane miles of seal and onyx seal coating on our public streets. This represents a 284% increase in our preventive maintenance, which enhances the conditions of our roads, our largest asset for future generations. We continue investing in citizen quality of life by investing in our parks. Last year saw great strides towards park and recreation enhancements. We developed a regional capital parks program funded by our commercial solid waste revenues projections and the Keep Tyler Beautiful tipping fee at the landfill. We combined this with funding dedicated from the half-cent fund to make improvements at Lindsay and Hillside Parks and begin major renovations at Fun Forest, Woldert, Southside, Golden Road, and Gasaway parks. We secured community donations for projects such as the ADA Playground, begun at Southside Park, and installed new features at Hillside Park, which allowed our dollars to go even further. We continue our mission to serve our community through our Parks and Recreation programs by continuing to reinvest in our services with the fiscal year 2020 budget. There is a sizable investment into our premier recreational facility, the Glass Recreation Center, with $107,582 towards improvements. This will include restroom renovation, new weight equipment, interior repainting, and the gym floor being resurfaced. Unfortunately, we are the victims at times of vandalism in our park restroom facilities throughout the city during nighttime hours. The fire in the Southside Park bathroom a couple of years ago put that bathroom out of commission for over half a year and cost approximately $75,000 to repair. We are requesting to install timer locks on all the park restroom facilities so that they are locked between dusk and dawn. This will work to prevent future damage to these facilities and reduce our costs. With the recent opening of the Legacy Trails, we now have over 4 miles of new trails to serve our citizens and visitors. With the additional funding of $25,000 that is proposed, we do ensure that they are maintained and mowed to provide a quality environment for those enjoying the natural beauty of the trails and woods that surround them. This year we replaced our library roof. Cost savings in the amount of $179,000 and allowed more funding for facilities and equipment in this year's budget, and an estimated $500,000 in various roof repairs and replacements throughout the city. We plan to install new parking meters for the downtown that will allow for credit card, coin, and mobile payment, thus enhancing our citizens' experience. The majority of the expenditure, however, will be dedicated towards purchase of a new fire engine. In fiscal year 2019, we worked toward and are now proposing for fiscal year 2020 a more regular replacement schedule for our fire engines and ladder trucks to ensure that we have the highest functioning vehicles available to our firefighters. Engine trucks are frontline service vehicles that provide rapid response to all emergencies, responding to every service call, and have a life expectancy of 12 years. Ladder trucks are more specialized vehicles that provide aerial water flow and elevated rescue capability with an optimal life experience of 15 years. The replacement plan will assist Tyler Fire Department in fulfilling its mission to protect lives and property from fire and other hazards through incident mitigation, education, and prevention. Our third goal in the strategic plan is performance excellence. This organization has a long history of utilizing innovative programs in education with our employees to better them and better the community. Our commitment to excellence continues with the City of Tyler's focus on public safety. This year, we'll invest $38,000 for bunker gear. We'll purchase new rope rescue equipment and additional training certifications for our fire department. Additionally, we will retain an ISO consultant to evaluate fire department procedures which will allow us to apply for the highest possible ISO rating. The ISO rating is significant when homeowners or business owners request insurance coverage or when changes to existing policies occur. Insurance companies use many factors when determining the cost of insurance premiums. One major factor is the level of fire protection available to a community. Most insurance carriers rely on information provided by the ISO to determine the quality of fire protection available to a community when establishing insurance rates. Improving our ISO class ratings is an ongoing goal for the Tyler Fire Department. Our community is constantly growing, and the demand for fire and other emergency services is also increasing. We want to provide a consistent high level of service for our taxpayers in the City of Tyler, and the ISO PPC rating will let us know what the city's needs are to do just that. Tyler's ISO rating is currently a Class 2 following our last evaluation. We are working hard to maintain or improve our previous ISO ratings to possibly achieve lower insurance rates for our taxpayers. We plan to add 2 additional firefighter positions in April 2020. By slowly expanding department personnel, we hope to proactively keep pace with the city's growth and uphold our superior response times. We will also add a Step 23 and 25 certificate pay for both police department and the fire department, enabling us to be competitive and retain our most experienced public safety personnel. Speaking of police, we will add 2 additional patrol officers in April 2020, along with a patrol vehicle to support them. This allows more robust community policing and responsiveness to citizen concerns. Preventive policing through officer-initiated contacts, relationship building, and outreach supports our goal of exceeding our citizens' expectations and maintaining a safe community. In addition, we have planned expenditures from our asset forfeiture fund to make $60,000 in improvements on the gun range and $40,000 for load-bearing vests for our officers' safety. We continue our Lean Six Sigma program throughout the organization. Over the years, we have saved millions of dollars to the taxpayers in soft and hard savings. We continue to focus on savings, but have recently begun in the past years to prioritize enhancing our effectiveness to the citizen. You've heard a number of projects impacts during this presentation, from the changes at Municipal Court to the tire recycling collections. Here's an additional project and its contribution that demonstrates the regular impact of Lean Six Sigma in this organization. With the help of the entire Parks program and assistance from one of our Lean Six Sigma black belts, the Oakwood complex was completely inventoried. Staff then used the 5S process to organize equipment and supplies. This inventory practice has sustained itself for 3 months now. This enhances efficiency by reducing staff time needed to locate equipment, spare parts, or supplies for maintenance of our parks and fields. It also enables leaner purchasing because the inventory provides a quick reference for materials. Additionally, 1/3 of our budget is dedicated to the salaries and benefits of the 850+ employees who serve this city. They range from streets and stormwater crews who are taking care of our roadways in the heat of the day and responding to drainage infrastructure issues 24/7, to the men on the fire engine headed to an emergency. The funding for these positions comes from multiple funds, including the various enterprise funds we have and the general fund. Of the approximately 850 employees, the majority work in our police and fire departments. 20% make up our utility staff, with 12% in general government functions such as parks, streets, library, and municipal court. As part of our city's blueprint for doing business, we want to build a sustainable approach to employee compensation that provides incremental merit-based pay increases. This year, we plan to offer all qualifying employees a merit-based increase of 2%, plus the ability to qualify for an additional 1% lump sum to be paid out quarterly. We conducted market pay rate studies on 83 positions this year in order to continue to keep our employees at comparable pays for other cities. This resulted in 157 employees receiving a higher pay rate than they had received in the year before. We hope to conduct at least another 43 market rate studies this coming year on positions that we see as potentially not at market rates or have difficulty in recruiting. You will see this focus on workforce investment reflecting in our increasing retention from 2014 to the present. Through employee engagement and staying competitive with our market comparisons, we hit a new high for the city on 92.2% retention of employees. We continue to work on improvement and building up an exceptional team of public servants for our community. During the past 3 years, we have made substantial adjustments to our health fund and its policies. As a self-insured institution, we have pursued changes that balance the program's costs between the city and the employees. The health fund has seen a good year with relatively few major claims. With the state of the health fund, we recommend no increases in premium for employees and to lower the out-of-pocket maximum from $7,350 to $6,350 for employees. It will potentially add $47,169 in claim expense to the health fund, but at this time, the health fund is in a position to absorb this cost. Beyond the salaries and benefits for our staff, we continue to expand opportunities for the employee to grow with our organization. Our staff may have been hired for a specific task, but we are amazed at the talent they have that blooms with training, equipment, and teamwork. We have employees who are getting their bachelor's and master's degrees from local colleges and universities, allowing them to continue their advancement from the city. This year, we instituted a program for employees who wanted to pursue their GED. We are working with the Literacy Council for employees and spouses to receive the preparatory training here at our CityU. The intent of this new program will improve the employee and family's abilities to increase their education, earning potential, and their ability to advance in our community. Our programs, such as Walking with Bob, which you can check out on YouTube, were developed by allowing staff to use their skills to reach out in a way that benefits the entire community. Our Toastmasters Club teaches and encourages staff to share their stories and experiences with the community to provide a greater understanding of what the city does. I'm proud of the development and creativity that our staff demonstrate through these additional workforce investments. I'll let this slide off. This area of focus on the strategic plan provides for the community participation in building our diverse economy and growing our city. We have performed extensive renovations and expansions at Tyler Regional Pounds Airport with the runway 422 and other projects. Runway enhancements allow larger commercial planes to land at the airport, which solidifies our standing as a regional transportation hub. This can be seen by the addition of our newest partner, Frontier Airlines, currently offering direct service from Tyler to Denver, then continuing to parts beyond. Downtowns are also recognized as playing a unique role in a community's economic and social development because they create a critical mass of activities where commercial, culture, and civic exchange is concentrated. Our public-private partnerships, such as the one at Cumberland Village, continue to drive our retail sector and enable us to bring shoppers and businesses from outside our city limits. We have numerous key partners such as Visit Tyler, Sport Tyler, and First Tee. The work they are doing is exciting and increases the quality of life for our citizens, businesses, and our visitors. Our collaborations with our downtown partners continues the revitalization that is capturing the interests of the community and generating new levels of activity. With programs such as Tunes at Noon and the planned expansion of the Downtown Tyler Film Festival to include music and community storytelling with partners True-Vine and the Tyler Loop, there's true vibrancy to the downtown environment that continues into the next fiscal year. As part of the downtown plans, the City Council voted to create a Main Street Advisory Board, which will advocate for downtown amenities. The Main Street Board will also administer a new downtown revitalization grant program, which will provide up to $10,000 in matching grants per entity to downtown property owners for upgrades to their facades and make safety improvements. We are creating a bigger presence on the square this fall with the addition of the Tyler Visitor Center. We are joining together Main Street, Heart of Tyler, Visit Tyler, and Liberty Hall staff to share office space, retail space, and the art gallery on the first floor of Plaza Tower, which generates stronger partnerships and gives greater visibility to all these operations for our guests and citizens. After feedback from the Texas Department of Transportation on our first application, we are pursuing the BUILD grant for 2019 to enhance South Broadway infrastructure and streetscape from Irwin to Front Street. The moving forward with the replacement of the parking meters to have new meters will also allow for that mobile pay options. Apologize for that. Got it. As per the budget and tax rate adoption schedules per state statutes, the Council has two actions that it must take today. It must adopt a proposed rate that becomes a ceiling for consideration and further debate and to use for publication purposes, and the Council must set the first two public hearings for the budget and tax rate. Staff recommends holding the first public hearing at our next regularly scheduled City Council meeting on August 28th and the second hearing on September 11th. We expect to bring the tax rate and budget to the Council for adoption at your meeting on September 25th. I do want to extend my deep appreciation to my budget team of Kedrick Trimble, Renissa Wade, and Blake Cathy for their countless hours of taking the budget proposals from the documents from each department and working to refine these into the document we have for review today. In addition, I note the incredible work in showcasing our budget story as shown in this presentation developed by Jennifer Pittman and Blake Cathy. They took information that is dry and sleep-inducing and found a format that showcases how the budget moves forward the direction of the city. I also provide my gratitude to you, the City Council. You provided direction and priorities in our conversations, deliberations, and ideas throughout the year, and it set the stage for the budget that we provided. Our focus on employees, infrastructure, parks, and public safety reflects your vision for this community. I thank you for your service and insight on behalf of the citizens of Tyler. It is a privilege to serve you and present this budget for fiscal year 2020 programs and services for your consideration.